Hi everyone, I'm Helen with Wayne County Human Services. I work up in the Pocono RAB, and today I'm just going to give you a really quick tutorial on how to access the community queue or CQ in our community, in our coordinated entry system, and what to expect to find once you're there. So I had just got on, I had logged into my HMIS. If you are used to working with a different COC that uses a different version of HMIS, you might have a different URL. So make sure that you use this one. www.clienttrack.net/PAHMIS. You'll want to leave off the _train. Although that is available to you, this is specific to the training environment that we're going to be working in, so real names aren't used. Okay, and you know that you're in training when you see this little guy right here. Okay, so we use the right URL, we signed in. You're going to want to choose the correct work group. This is a work group specific to our coordinated entry system, so you'll want to choose this one right here. You will choose the correct organization and location. Many of us just have one. If you have more than one, chances are you're already familiar with how to choose between which organizations and locations. Basically, you'll want to choose the ones that reflect which one you're trying to work with within coordinated entry at that time. Okay, so you're going to use these settings. A new window will always pop up. You'll see that lock there. Okay, it will default to the client screen always. So you will want to go here, go from the client screen to the provider screen, and that's where you'll see the community queue. If you don't see this right now at this point, then you're going to want to try to go up here to access provider. You are going to make sure that you are checked off. From there, the screen will refresh and you should see this populate. That's usually like the best fix that we've seen so far when people are saying that they don't see the queue when they should be seeing it and they're already in the right work group. Okay, so we're going to click on that community queue. For those of you familiar with older versions, this is also where we used to see the ER queue or the emergency referral queue. That information has now been consolidated into the community queue as well. Okay, so now we're in the queue, which as you see, this is the active list. So this is everyone that is currently waiting for permanent housing solutions in the COC. Conversely, the closed list, or sorry, the historical list would be those that are closed and were placed. So people that are not seeking permanent housing at this time. Let me make this so you can see the whole thing. I am going to have a different training on each of these filters, as well as each of these categories down here. But generally speaking, each of these up here correspond to a column down here, and also information on the person's record, which you could find here, and I'll go to in a second. Okay, so the type of information, once you get on the queue, you'll be able to see what kind of services they're prioritized for, what their needs are in terms of shelter. You'll be able to see the location that they are willing to live in. You'll be able to see the different subpopulations that they might be associated with, so you could drill down. Okay, you'll also be able to see their household composition down here, their HMIS ID number, the date they were added to the wait list. Let's see, their status. So a few new statuses have been added recently. I'm recording the end of June, so it was just maybe 2 weeks ago or so that we got some new statuses, maybe a little bit, maybe 3 weeks ago. So you'll see someone is either going to be new, engaging, reviewed, or verifying, to kind of give you a gauge of who needs what kind of attention when you're on the queue. The last date that someone put in a note, and you can't see it here on the training environment. I suppose it wasn't updated yet, but there's an additional column that shows last intake note by. so you could see the provider. As you're on here, you'll get to know the 211 operators, the specialists, and we want to make sure that the last intake note by that it's not one of those specialists, because that usually will mean then that some action is needed on the provider end. There was either some kind of update or they were brand new to the queue. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of how to read this when you're here. From there, you could dive in a little bit more. Go to this radio button on anyone. You can review their queue record, which we will get to. You can accept or enroll straight from the queue. Or actually, you should be enrolling or accepting straight from the queue. You can change their status. You can do notes. You can see their referrals. All of this right here from that button. And there will be training on those sorts of things as well in different mini videos. Okay, so just if you go to the community queue record, you'll also be able to see if there were any household members. And then again, this is the information that was dumped onto the CQ. So this is where it originated from. But in addition, you would also find the client phone number here and email if that was provided. Another place that you could look if you don't see it here, I'd encourage you just to go to the VI SPDAT and look inside the VI SPDAT at the bottom. There's a spot for phone numbers, so you might be able to find it there as well. Okay, but that's kind of the broad brushstrokes of the community queue. Stay tuned. There will be other videos on filtering, service acceptance, notes, and a couple of other things. Okay, so thank you so much for watching and have a great day.